Oh, she's here. She's here right on time, isn't she? Right on time. We almost didn't have Laura. She's literally just sat 1 second ago. Laura, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to another one of our live session where we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand, because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, like Robin mentioned, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, and it literally has thousands and thousands of articles about traveling in New Zealand and pretty much answers all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. So that's pretty handy and it's free. But if you're not really into reading, we also do this live Q&A session that we do every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So you guys can come onto the live chat and ask your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But also throughout the week, if you do miss our live session, we do pool all the questions we received in the comments section of any of our videos. And we also go through some of those questions as well during this live Q&A session. And just so you know the times around the world, with our trusty little time board. So around the world, that's on a Saturday at UK and France, that's at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. In the US, that is also on a Saturday at 2 p.m. EST or 11 a.m. PST. And in India, that is bright and early on a Sunday morning at 12:30 a.m. And in Australia, that is also pretty early on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m. All right, so let's get started.
All right, guys. So we know that you guys have a lot of questions about the current events, and there is quite a lot of situations arising around the world. And we actually did publish a video this morning, which is a good 30 minutes, in which we go over all the government announcements and everything that applies to travelers in New Zealand or that are planning to come to New Zealand. And we also cover students and anything else, students and people which are currently here with visas and everything like that. So if you do have questions about the current event, the crazy situation which is happening right now, check out this video. Literally, it's a whole 30 minutes of very boringness, but we've got to cover that. In the meantime, Y2J or
why in the world?
I'm still not used to the new name.
You'll always be Y2J in our hearts.
So Why in the World says good morning, Laura and Robin. So
yes,
I do like that.
Capital letters.
And Why in the World was actually was asking some questions about the new video that we're publishing about New Zealand's biggest gap year. And he was asking us if we are going to be re-editing all the videos, every single one of them. And yes, we are. We just thought we'd do a look back at it. So we publish about a couple of a week. And yeah, we'll look back at all the 385 videos that this series is. So yeah, we'll have all of them coming up. It's not going to take just a year this time. It's probably going to take a couple of years or something. But yeah, we'll look at all of them, update you guys on it. And it's a good way as well for us to just kind of look back at it, because we haven't looked back at those videos. It's kind of funny. It's very cringy for us, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he said, "You'll always be backpacker guide in my heart." Oh, that's nice. I like that you put hearts with an S. How many hearts do you have? I only have one.
Several
I can't cope
hearts.
with it. All right. So if you guys have any questions for us about traveling in New Zealand, pop it into the live chat and we're here for you. In the meantime, we have a lot of people that give us questions throughout the week, and you can do that by putting them on the comments of any of our videos. And we actually are going to go through a question that we received and that is this one right here. If you want to read it, Laura.
All right. So Giovanni on YouTube asked us, "Hey guys, I hope to catch your next live video. In the meantime, since I have 7/8 days to travel from Wellington return, what places would you suggest me to visit? I'd like to hit at least Nelson Lakes area and Hokitika and stay on the West Coast. Any suggestion would be much appreciated."
Well, Giovanni, we do have suggestions for you, but the best way to actually talk about itineraries is to grab our trusty map. So let's just get started with that. Do you want a pen, Laura?
That would be most helpful.
Do you want another color as well? You like to have two
I
colors,
mean, I
don't
like
you?
to join up the dots with a different color.
Here you go. All right. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put all the destinations on the map, the thing that you should be hitting in about 1 week in the South Islands, and then we'll tell you a little bit why you should be hitting all of those. So obviously you can be starting in Picton, as you mentioned. So let's get started in Picton.
Somewhere around here.
Yep. And where is he finishing?
Oh, he's finishing back in Picton.
Okay, cool. So we start in Picton. That's perfect. That's perfect. So from Picton here, you are going to be making your way toward Nelson. Yeah, because you want to go to Nelson.
And the Nelson Lakes area, he was
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
And then you're going to drive all the way down to Hokitika. So it's going to be a bit of a long drive, but it's definitely worth checking out there. Then you're going to check out the glacier.
Somewhere around here.
Yep. Then you're going to make your way to beautiful Queenstown.
Probably a little lower than that, but...
Yep. Then you're going to make your way to Christchurch. And then you'll be back in Picton.
Oh, that's a long drive.
That's a long drive. Indeed. Or do we want to cut him and just get him to do that way? Maybe we should. Just remove that. You know what? We're changing our mind. Here you go. You're going to be, I'll give you less drive. So you go to the glaciers, and then after you just go straight, and you probably stop around Kaikoura. All right, let's talk about all those destinations. So if you start in Picton, right, because you're probably spending some time in Wellington, that's what we suspect, and you're going to hop on the ferry and arrive in Picton. So starting in Picton, it's a really good place to actually start in the South Island. A lot of people just see Picton as just an entry port to the South Island, and that there is not much to do there, but there is a ton. It's a fantastic place, and I really invite you to check out some of our videos about Picton, because we did some awesome mountain biking. There is some awesome wildlife. You can also go check out dolphins. It's really fantastic. So maybe spending a day in Picton is really cool. But then you're going to head to Nelson, because there is quite a few good things to check out around Nelson.
All right, so from Nelson, there's quite a lot of tours that are taking you to the Abel Tasman National Park, which is a little bit more this way. And from there, there's loads of stuff you can do in the Abel Tasman National Park, which is known for its beaches and stunning forests. You can do kayaking tours, sailing. There's even a great walk there, the Abel Tasman Coastal Track, which if you have, which you can make pretty much as long as you want. Day trips to do the hike where boats can bring you back, or you can make it 2 days, 3 days. I think it goes as long as 5 days for the whole trip. So yeah, depending on how much time you have, you might just want to do maybe 1 or 2 days near the Abel Tasman National Park. Also in Nelson, the city itself is pretty cool. You can there's lots of really great places to eat, and a lot of vineyards and wineries nearby. The centre of New Zealand is there, so if you want to see a amazing geographical landmark, then the center of New Zealand is there as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much Nelson in a nutshell.
Yeah. Then after, you're going to make your way down to Hokitika without forgetting the beautiful Nelson Lakes along the way. So the places around the Nelson Lakes are absolutely fantastic. It's those kind of pictures that you see of New Zealand when you have that just one like a small pier made of wood, and then you're on a really placid lake with crazy mountain landscape in the background. So if you have seen those pictures of New Zealand, which you probably have because there is a ton of them, well, then you're going to be able to see those landscape right here. Plus, if you do have a GoPro, just stick it down in the water nearby the pier. There is a ton of hills and everything. It's really cool. If you want to know more about that, just type Nelson or Nelson Lakes, or watch any of our videos about the area. We have a ton of videos on the channel, and we show you all of that, even the top and below the pier. That's to tell you how thorough we are. And then you keep on making your way down on the South Island.
Hokitika.
I think Hokitika is a little bit lower from memory.
It's more across from.
But I mean, that's obviously that's an approximate map, right? But yeah, so then you make your way down to Hokitika. So first, you're going to drive alongside the west coast, and the west coast of the South Island is absolutely fantastic. There's so many places to stop along the way. I'm having a brain poop right here. Is Punakaiki before or after?
I think it's after Hokitika.
Oh, well, I won't talk about that until the next round. Laura, you talk about it next.
Okay.
Anyway, in Hokitika, it's kind of like the greenstone capital of New Zealand. There is a ton of beautiful arts made of greenstone in so many different shops, and you can also carve your own greenstone, which is amazing souvenirs to bring back home. And obviously, you are on the coast, so you have like a lot of driftwood filled beach and a lot of stuff like that, and obviously plenty of hikes because you are in New Zealand. If you want to know more about Hokitika, as usual, check out our videos or check out NZPocketGuide.com. It's also a really good website for you to be able to find out what is there to do in every area.
All right, so then after Hokitika, if you want to see more of the West Coast, it's best to keep traveling down south, making your way toward the glacier country like the Franz Josef Glacier and the Fox Glacier. But on the way, we recommend checking out the Punakaiki Pancake Rocks. It's only a 10 to 20 minute sort of loop walk off the side of the main highway, so it's very easy to find and get to. And that gets you seeing some really awesome sort of limestone rock formations that look like stacked pancakes. So what's not to love about that? So when you get to Franz Josef, you'll probably want to, or Fox Glacier, both of these destinations are only 20 minutes apart, so it's kind of best to just decide which one appeals to you more. But when you get to those areas, the offering of activities there is very similar. You can you probably want to stay there at least a couple of days, maybe even 3 days, so you can do things like heli hiking on the glaciers, where you can go and actually put some crampons on your hiking boots and walk on a glacier, which is pretty cool. There's skydiving, where you can get some amazing views of the Southern Alps before free falling from 20,000 feet or whatever it is nowadays.
Awesome videos on the channel to check this one out.
Yeah.
We're not scared at all. That's
Yeah.
a lie. We are very scared.
Otherwise, there are some free activities you can do, which are a few hikes to do around the area. And we have all the information on the different hikes on nzpocketguide.com. If you just type in the search either Franz Josef or Fox Glacier, and you'll find
get so many.
you'll find an article which lists all the hikes to do in those areas. And yeah, otherwise in Franz Josef as well, there's also some hot pools if you want to do a bit of relaxation.
Lindis Pass, is that correct?
No, Arthur's Pass, so they'll have to backtrack.
Yeah, so you make your way a little bit back and then turn and you do Arthur Pass. It's a fantastic drive, but it will take you most of the day to do this drive right here, but it's really phenomenal and definitely worth doing. The views are stunning. It's literally just one pass in between the mighty Southern Alps. You're going to see like the tiny river, like the valley is so big and the river is so small. To me, I have always a hard time like understanding how this little piece of water kind of carved this whole valley.
Yeah.
Right here. It's quite phenomenal. So the drive is absolutely fantastic, and you reach Christchurch. Now, if you still have some gas in the tank, both physically to drive more and in your car to drive more, we suggest you skip Christchurch straight away and go to Akara. It's fine. Just right. Oh yeah, if you want, but it so in Akara, the Banks Peninsula, it's a wildlife paradise. You have little blue penguins, you have tiny dolphins. You will absolutely love this place. It's an extra drive, but I think if I have that short amount of time in the Southland, this is where I want to spend most of my time rather than Christchurch. And then after you backtrack, you go to Kaikoura.
That's a little bit lower than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kaikoura is known for being like a wildlife paradise, especially for marine wildlife. It's very famous for its whale watching, which you can do either on boat tours or actually from scenic flights. Both of them are pretty similar in price. So yeah, just bear that in mind that there's two different options there. You can also do seal swimming, which is personally one of Robin and mine's favorite activity to do in New Zealand. The seals are really interactive in the water. You can do dolphin swimming. You can go on albatross boat tours to actually get really close to these giant seabirds, which is really cool. And also there's a lot of walks you can do around the area. You can walk to some seal colonies. You can eat some crayfish because it's all about the seafood in that town as well. Yeah, I think that's probably enough to keep.
And we've
got
a video of all of that. Every single one of the activities you just mentioned, we have video on that on the channel.
Yeah.
And then finally, you make your way back to Picton. If you want to stop along the way and you have some other passenger, because that's not for you, you can stop around Blenheim to get yourself some of the best wine of New Zealand. But if you don't, or if you're just driving by yourself, please don't drink and drive. But yeah, some awesome wineries around Blenheim. It's quite amazing the amount of different wines that are made in this region. It's actually, I think the Marlborough region is the number one producing wine in the country.
Yes, it is.
So it's the largest wine production area in the country. I think second one is here around Hawke's Bay. Anyhow, so this is how we will spend 7 days, Picton to Picton, in the Southland for you, Giovanni. I hope that was helpful to you. If you did find this video useful, make sure to like. It's a great free way to support all our hard work. So yeah, that's always cool. And if you do want some more information, check out nzpocketguide.com, which is your Bible of traveling in New Zealand. See you guys around. We'll go back to the live chat. All right, what has been happening in the live chat? Oh, Clay says good morning, guys. So if you guys don't know Clay, Clay Bryant, he is a Kiwi. I think he's around Dunedin, and he pops in like sometimes on Sundays. Ivan says 8:05 a.m. Yes, it probably was when you left the message. Yep, and he say, how long do you expect the NZ borders to be closed for international visitors? So Ivan, we actually just released the video about 30 minutes ago, where we spent about half an hour talking about all the government announcements. So in there, we will actually tell you all the government facts, and at the end, we answer a few questions. Like basically we answer that question as well, with giving our opinion. So we really try to be as factual as possible. So just to give you a bit of an idea right now, the fact is the decision will be renewed in, now it's 13 days. So they will renew their decision in 13 days. Right now it's closed, and it's going to remain closed for the next 13 days, and then they'll decide again. That's all the fact that we currently know. Now, if you want our opinion, and I just make really sure to I separate, where is the fact and where is our opinion, right?
Yeah.
So now it's just our opinion. It will probably be renewed for another 2 weeks, and then they will decide again. It is highly likely that the whole month of April is a no-go.
Yeah.
And then June, it will depend on the current event. It will depend on what happens both around the world and in New Zealand. So that is what we're thinking. But the fact, like the actual government fact right now, is in 13 days from now, they will review the decision and decide to renew or not. I hope that is, I know it's not, you want a straight answer, but there is no straight answer right now, but I hope that this help you, and, and I hope that you appreciate the fact that we give you both facts and our opinion, and we split them very well. So yeah, hopefully that helps you with your trip, Evan. But if you want to start dreaming and start packing, you can definitely ask us more questions about traveling in New Zealand. Alan Charlie says, when will the border reopen? Planning for July intake. Well, Alan, guess what? I just answered the question.
Yeah.
But for July, listen, I will say, if I was in your shoes, again, if you want the fact, in 13 days from now, they will renew the decision, and they will decide if they renew it or not. That is the fact, and that is where we are at right now. So 13 days from now, so that's 14 days from the announcement. So it will be around the 3rd of March when they're going to renew the decision. That's the fact. Our opinion, if you're traveling in July, I will wait like the end of June to make a decision, just because things are changing so often. It's the same for us. Literally, if you watch the video we did about all those events last week compared to the one we published half an hour ago, almost all the facts are different because it has changed during the week. So it's kind of, you've got to... you've got to kind of play it by ears and be really kind of flexible with that. Yeah. So I think I will wait. I'll wait like the last week of July, and then I'll make a decision. That's all I would do.
Last week of June.
Yes, last week of June. Yes. So thank you, Laura. She knows months better than me. So yeah, again, sorry, Alan. We don't have like a straightforward answer for you, but that's where we're at. But that's how, we do have some trips actually planned as well. We actually have some trips planned from June and July, and we haven't canceled them yet. We are waiting a couple of weeks before trips to actually decide what we're doing with it.
Yeah.
Plenty of other stuff are cancelled. We were supposed to come to Christchurch, but everything has been cancelled. So we're not going to Christchurch anymore, which, not fun. Clay Bryan says, currently listening while at work doing the plumbing on a new test station here in Dunedin. And ladies looking at me strange. First up, why are you working on this Sunday? It's Sunday, 8 a.m. in the morning. We can't get a plumber where we are.
I like that sort of dedication.
I love that. But can we get a plumber like you around here?
Yeah.
A test. What's a test station? I don't know what a test station is, to be honest. So I don't really know that. And second, what if the other traders are looking at you strangely? It's probably because you have more coffee than them. It's way too early to be awake. So share your coffee, and I think they'll be nicer. Ivan says, you do you, Clay. Here you go.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you, mate. Montagne's ACG station. How is it going? Doing pretty awesome, mate. How are you doing? Are you planning a trip to New Zealand soon, or are you planning a bit of a holiday around the country or something?
Maybe later in the year.
Yeah. what brings you here today? Why in the world says I go diving for power in Akarora? Best bring your swimsuit.
Your wetsuit.
Your wetsuit. Yeah. Awesome. as well. That's always quite handy to have a swimsuit under your wetsuit. But yeah, cool. We never dive for power. We try power, and it's not bad, but we never went to dive for it. $170 per kg for crayfish in Kaikoura. They charge far too much. It is, and that's the thing. When you have something which is a bit more of a tourist attraction, you you expect to pay a little bit more just because of the setting, because of the whole experience. If you look at it just as raw amount of meat that you get, well, yeah, it is a lot of money, but then you get the whole experience. The restaurant has a big crayfish in front of its, facade, and it's just kind of like when you're a tourist, you are willing to pay more just because you get an experience along with it. You can say, I've had crayfish literally right off the water from the shores of Kaikoura. It's just a little bit more what it is as a tourist. Obviously, as a local, and why in the world is a local, $170 a kg for your protein is a little bit expensive. So yeah, that makes sense.
And there's a few sort of seafood food trucks around Kaikoura, which I think they do a much cheaper price than that, from what I've seen anyway, unless it has gone up crazy in the last few months. But yeah, there's other options rather than going to the fancy restaurants as well. Yeah.
But yeah, if you do find any proteins in New Zealand, which is $170 a kg, that will be too much, and you pay too much for your proteins. At that point, it's only one best reason to become vegetarian. If meat becomes $170 a kg, everyone turns vegetarian for sure. Or you have to take a mortgage to get a steak. Clay say, I haven't missed a session for some time. Not going to let work get in the way of that. I learned a lot about my own country from these guys. Haha. Oh, that's nice. Cool. That's really awesome. And you know what? I'm pretty sure, that's the thing. Originally, I'm from France, and originally Laura is from the UK, right? If you ask us travel tips for England or for France, no idea. But when you get to a new country, usually you're more eager to explore, so you end up doing way more. So, Clay, just out of curiosity, have you watched some of the episodes from New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year when we do all the activities all around for a whole year? It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'd love to know if you actually have watched that and if you have done any of the activities we did. Charlie's here. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing? How's your morning going for you? Why in the World says, come to Crashers later in the year. It will all depend on when events are rescheduled and everything. Right now, everything is up in the air. We'd love to come, but we think, and it's just for all case right now, it will take another 12 months from our previous travel date. So yeah, that's our take on it. So we think it's not an extra 13 or 14 months that Crashers doesn't see us. We're going to see a lot of other places in New Zealand, but Crashers is going to be about 13 to 14 months. Bradley says, hey guys, it's Brad here from Auckland, Otara. How are you doing, Brad? Having a good day so far? Awesome. Clay says, we contract to the SDHB. No idea. Southland District Health Board, I would say, but I have no idea.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. I have no idea. And they need a virus test station is set up by Tuesday. Trust me, not my choice to be here on a Sunday by any means. Okay. So you are building a test station for the current event. That's epic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. So yeah, I guess they need water there, and therefore that's fun. Okay,
it all makes sense now.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thanks for your dedication.
Yeah, thanks for working on a Sunday.
Thanks for your sacrifice, and awesome. And hopefully you'll help all the school kids over there, I think. Anyway, Bradley is doing well as well. So while you guys are coming up with some questions about traveling in New Zealand, we'll be super happy to answer them. In the meantime, we do have some questions that we received throughout the week from a lot of other people. So we'll go through that. And Hero, which actually is currently in New Zealand, in Te Puke, I think, has a question for us.
So Hero asks, what would be a good 2 to 3 days itinerary for each region in New Zealand? Thank you, guys.
Wow. So what we're going to do for this one is going to be quite fun. We're going to take the map of New Zealand and we're going to put out all the regions, and we'll tell you 2 or 3 things that we'll do in each region. And that's going to be kind of our favorite thing. So it's a little bit kind of personal choices, but that will help you plan your itinerary and see where you will be going. So let's get the map out.
Do you have a rubber for this?
Of course. Here you go. Boom. Cool. So we're going to go from north to south just because it's going to be a little bit easier. And we're going to get started with Northland. So Northland region is the region which is above Auckland. So Auckland is right in the middle right here. So Laura is going to mark Auckland first.
Oh, Auckland?
Yeah, mark Auckland. So
the region or
no,
just the
yeah,
city?
just make. But around Auckland. There you go. That's Auckland. So anything above that is
about here.
Is all North, right? So in Northland you have Bahia, and you also. So we're talking about North. Up, you alternate. We're gonna do blue first, and then red and the blue. So it's gonna be easier.
Okay.
Up here. This is the region we're talking about. Up here you go. All that perfect. Awesome. So this is the region of Northland right here. So we have Whangarei and we have here, and around here there is a couple of things that I will do. First up, on the drive up, I'll stop in Whangarei and I'll check out the Whangarei Falls. I think it's a fantastic place to check out. But then I think I will spend most of my time in Bahia, which is the gateway to the Bay of Islands. One of the things you can be doing is to go all the way up to Cape Reinga, which is the top of the North Island. And this is where you will be able to see both the Tasman Sea and the Pacific Ocean meet. And you got like dark blue and then turquoise blue water meet. And it's absolutely fantastic to see at sea. And then you get back to Bahia, and then there's a few activities to do. What would you pick?
For Bahia, there's a lot of boat cruises, for instance, sort of like dolphin. Oh, no, they don't do dolphin swimming anymore.
No, but you can check out the dolphin. You can do dolphin
you
encounter
can do
cruises.
Dolphin watching. So yeah, there's boat cruises to some interesting sort of formations, like this hole in the rock, which is like a big archway in an island. You can go in a boat cruise and go right underneath that. There's parasailing. There is normal sailing, like sailing in a sailing yacht.
Sailing. If you do another kind of sailing, you're definitely not normal.
Yeah. There's scuba diving as well, which is actually pretty fun around there. And there's even sort of like multi-day boat tours, which takes you around the islands, and you actually stay on the boat as well. So yeah, it's definitely a place to visit if you want to be out on the water. And it generally has sort of the nicest weather up there, or the warmest weather. So it kind of feels like a little holiday up there.
Nice. All right. So that's the few things that we'll be doing in the Bay of Islands. Then we're going to be talking about the Auckland region, which is this one right here, big in red. So what are the first couple of things you will do in Auckland?
So if you're staying in Auckland Central, you can take ferries from the downtown ferry terminal, which can take you to some pretty awesome islands. Some of the islands include Rangitoto Island, which is a real volcanic island that has like a big crater in the middle. There's lava caves to go into. Really good walks on there. There's also Tiri Tiri Matangi, which is an island for sort of native birds. It's like a bird sanctuary. And then around Auckland, there's lots of regional parks around Auckland. So there's places like the Waitakere Ranges on the western coast, which has lots of really cool walks into forests and seeing waterfalls. There's also in the south, there's the Hunua Ranges, which also has forests and waterfalls to check out as well. But yeah, I think that's probably just a quick thing to do in Auckland.
All right. So then the next thing we're going to be talking about is both the Coromandel and the Bay of Plenty. It's going to be a bit easier that way. And so that's going to be the Coromandel area as well as Tauranga. So we're not following exactly the correct regions of New Zealand just because we find it a bit easier to group them that way for travelers, right? So if you are a New Zealander right now and you are watching us and you say, this is not what the region is, we get it. It's just a bit easier when you plan a trip to kind of make the region as it fits. Because, for example, there's a big region called Waikato that goes everywhere here. And it doesn't make any sense. So in Coromandel area, Laura, what would you do?
So in Coromandel, there's lots of amazing beaches to check out there as well. Some of the famous beaches are Hot Water Beach, where you can dig yourself a hot water pool in the sand, which is really cool. You can go to Cathedral Cove, which is a really famous area in the Coromandel with sort of archways and white cliffs on the beach. You can walk there or do kayaking tours or even motorboat tours there. Also in the Coromandel, there are a few walks going into kauri forests, and kauri are the largest types of trees in New Zealand, and they're really impressive to see. I think that's about 3 things to do there.
Nice. And then if you are in Tauranga, there is some awesome dolphin swimming to do there. It's very different. You are holding onto a boat and you drag behind it, so you swim alongside the dolphin. It's really phenomenal. And you can climb up Mount Manganui, which basically gives you a really nice view of the whole area. So, and it's like a 30 minutes, we'll say. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. All right, cool. Now we're going to change color again, and we're going to go with this region right here, which is going to be up going here. And just before, so Rotorua will be here. So just before that, so we're having Waitomo and we're having Hobbiton right here. Sorry, Hamilton here and Hobbiton about here. All right, so 3 things to do. I already made the dot.
So you can go in this sort of top area of the Waikato region. You can go to Waitomo, which is famous for its glowworms and glowworm caves. The glowworms themselves are really impressive to see, and there's various different activities in order to do that. You can take sort of boat tours, walking tours, and even caving tours if you're looking for something a little more adventurous. In Hamilton, that's sort of, I think it's the 2nd largest city in New Zealand. Is it second? No, that's Christchurch.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's 3rd, yeah.
3rd largest city, a larger city than most in New Zealand. And in Hamilton, the sort of surrounding area has lots of activities to do. There's things like jet boating near Cambridge, which is just a little further down there. There's the Hamilton Gardens, which is pretty much in Hamilton. That's pretty cool to see. Lots of different themed gardens, and it doesn't take you too long to check those out. There's New Zealand's only tea plantation, Geelong, in Hamilton. So if you want to try and taste some fancy tea, you can go there as well. And then in Hobbiton, most people...
In Matamata, I think.
In Matamata. We just call it Hobbiton now. But
the town is Matamata, and the attraction is Hobbiton.
Yeah, so in Matamata, you can go to Hobbiton, which is a movie set for the Lord of the Rings. And if you're into the Lord of the Rings, it's probably one of the main places that people like to go. But around Matamata, there is also, in Matamata, there's escape rooms.
Oh, yeah. There's a really cool, actually, it's a really cool escape rooms in the Matamata. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's also a few nearby waterfalls and stuff between Matamata and Tauranga. Depends what route you take around. Yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and then we're moving on to Rotorua area. What will we do in the Rotorua area, Laura?
So in Rotorua, you can... Rotorua is mainly known for 2 things. One of them is the geothermal activity there. You can go see lots of different types of geothermal parks. Even in the city centre, they have a free geothermal park where you can check out some bubbling mud and steaming lakes and all that sort of cool stuff. Also, what Rotorua is famous for is its Maori attractions. So there's lots of sort of Maori tours there. You can go and see some cultural performances, try traditional Maori food known as hangi, where they cook food in an underground oven for a very long time. You don't have to sit there while they're cooking it. It's usually prepared when you arrive, just to make that clear. So that's pretty much Rotorua in a nutshell. Lots of mountain biking and stuff like that as well, but yeah.
That's why we're going to do the East Cape of the North Island. This whole area right here, look, it's a beautiful leaf. Laura, what would you do around this area?
Okay, so this is a really good area for road tripping, and it kind of looks like a surfboard actually, which reminds me that you can do some surfing.
Yeah.
In the Gisborne area. Gisborne is the main city of the East Coast, the East Cape or Eastland. It has many different regional names, which has been very confusing for us over the years, but yeah. But Gisborne, you can do surfing there. It's also got a good wine region there, so you can visit wineries and taste their wine and look at nice vineyards and stuff like that. There's also waterfalls in a place called the Rere. So there's the Rere Rock Slide. There's the Rere Falls, and there's an arboretum. Is that how you say it? Arboretum. So you can go check out loads of different types of trees, which also has lots of New Zealand birds in it as well, which is pretty cool.
But the first thing I would be doing over there, to be quite honest, would be to watch the sunrise. I think it's pretty awesome to just watch the first sunrise in the world. I think it's really cool. All right, moving on, we have in the area here of Lake Taupo. So there is a town of Taupo, there is a big lake, and there is also a really famous volcano around here. Laura, do you want to tell us what you will do around here?
Okay, so if you're staying in Taupo, there's actually loads of activities you can do around there. Lots of adventure activities, so you can do skydiving, bungee jumping, jet boats, whitewater rafting tours. Well, they sort of pick up people from there, but take you to a different area nearby to do whitewater rafting. So that's just a few things you can do in Taupo. There's also boat tours and kayaking tours on the lake itself if you actually want to get on the lake. But also, whether you're based in Taupo or one of the small towns nearby, there's shuttles to take you to do the Tongariro crossing, which is probably the most popular day walk in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's quite a long walk, but it takes you across some amazing volcanic landscapes. It's a really popular thing to do, but it's only really available to do starting from October, ending about March, April time, just because in winter it's covered in snow and not necessarily safe to go and do by yourself. So yeah.
All right, then we're going to drive. If you end up driving that way, you have the beautiful Forgotten World Highway, which is really awesome, but you can definitely arrive from that area. And you have the Taranaki region, which is absolutely fantastic. Laura, a couple of maybe 2-3 things to do around the Taranaki region. What would you do?
I think the main thing to do in Taranaki is to go to the Egmont National Park, which is in the center of that national park. It has a perfectly cone-shaped volcano, which is really cool to see. But
especially if you get to see it from space. It's phenomenal to see from space.
Yeah, but if you can't make it to space, you can go onto all the little short walks they have around the area. They also have multi-day walks as well, which is pretty cool. So just going to see the amazing forest and the views of the mountain in the Egmont National Park is definitely a must-do in that area. Otherwise, you can go to the coast to a town called New Plymouth, which is a really funky town in itself. It's very artsy if you want to see a few art galleries and stuff like that. But you can also do surfing there. They have some good surf beaches in the area, lots of surfboard hire sort of companies there if you want to try it yourself. And what else to do in Taranaki?
Goblin Forest, surfing. No, you say it. Okay, we're moving on to Wanganui or Whanganui, depending on who you ask. This whole region right here has this national park. It has a great walk, which is not a walk. I'm still upset they call it a great walk because it's not a walk.
It's a great paddle on a canoe.
But it's phenomenal, right? But it's not a walk. Yeah. So this area right here, Laura, what would you do there?
Okay, so in Wanganui, there is like a main town there, which has quite a few really awesome beaches to check out. And yeah, it's really good it has a few good walks and hikes. But in the Whanganui National Park, you can either, like Robin said, go on this multi-day canoe trip, which is really cool. But if you don't have a few days to spare there, then there's also jet boating tours you can do, which are a really good option. They take you down the Whanganui River, which is really cool, and take you to see sort of highlights of that national park. For instance, the Bridge to Nowhere, which is a bridge which was built, then abandoned, and this whole amazing sort of forest has grown around it.
The video that we have about it is quite funny because we just kind of understand how much effort it was into building that bridge and then abandoned so quickly. It's quite hilarious.
So we definitely recommend doing the jet boat tours in that area as well to just see more of the Whanganui River.
But if you don't do the jet boat, you still see the Bridge to Nowhere by doing the kayaking one. Don't you?
You have to do a really long multi-day hike to get there otherwise.
Okay, I'm wrong. Sorry. All right, moving on to some wine. Okay, this whole region right here. It's way bigger than... Okay, I'll make it way too big, but this is this is Hawke's Bay-ish.
Yeah.
And in this area, there is a couple of towns, and there is a lot of wine to be tasted, but there is other things to do.
Okay, so in Hawke's Bay, the main towns there are Napier and Hastings. Like Robin says, it's a major wine region, so there's a lot of wine tours you can go on. One option is they're like shuttle tours, which take you to various different wineries to taste wines, and you don't have to drive, so it's sort of you're sorted out there. But otherwise, there's a lot of bike tours, so they can take you around. Well, not they can take you around, they can give you some bikes and you just bike from winery to winery, which is also a pretty cool way to see the area. There's a place called Te Mata Peak? Yep. So Te Mata Peak is a really famous spot to go and walk or even drive up to and take some photos from an amazing viewpoint. You used to be able to go see some gannets at Cape Kidnappers. At this time, I think the walk is still closed, but there's a tractor tour to take you to some other gannets, not quite at Cape Kidnappers, but nearby. But the walk might open soon. We don't know.
All right. And there's also a great few places to surf, by the way, around the area as well here. We're moving on to Wellington. So the Wellington region over there, obviously there is Wellington City, which is right here, which is going to be your gateway to the South Island. But there is also a lot of other things to see around, including one of the most breathtaking staircase to climb, because it actually takes your breath out.
Yeah. So sort of toward the, it's more at the bottom of the North Island here. You can go to Cape Palliser, is it?
Yep.
Cape Palliser, where you can climb up. I think it felt like hundreds of steps to this lighthouse where it has some awesome views of the coast. And nearby is a seal colony as well, which is pretty cool to check out those seals. And nearby there is the Putangirua Pinnacles, which was a filming location in the Lord of the Rings, and just really cool sort of rock formations there as well to check out. So that's sort of on this side. But in Wellington itself, in the city, you can check out the Te Papa Museum. It's the probably most famous museum in the whole of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Lots of things to see there. Also, you could go to Zealandia, where there's shuttles doing free shuttles from the centre of Wellington, taking you to a wildlife sanctuary to see some awesome New Zealand birds.
Yeah, so definitely that's probably one of the best museum in the country, and it's free, so that's always a good thing. And so from Wellington, you take the ferry to go down to the South Island. But we're not going to do the South Island just right now. We'll do another video for the South Island, because that's already a lot of information to take in.
We've been talking a long time now.
Yeah, so yes, it's a lot of information to take in, but don't worry, we'll do the South Island as well. So again, we're going to recap quickly the region just to make it very clear. That's Northland. This is Auckland right here. This will be Coromandel as well as Tauranga. This will be like Waitomo, Hamilton, and Matamata, where Hobbiton is. This will be the East Cape. This will be Rotorua. This was Taupo. This is Taranaki. This is Whangarei or Whangarei. This is Hawke's Bay. And this will be
Wanganui. Sorry, Whanganui and Wanganui. You said Whangarei.
Oh, sorry. Wanganui. My bad. All right. If you did find this video useful, like and subscribe. It's always a great free way to say thank you for all our hard work. And check out nzpocketguide.com, where we go over all of those regions in crazy depth. There is literally a guide for each of the... There's more than one guide for each of the regions. So here you go. All right. Let's go back to live chat. Where are we with all that? Where was I'm not gonna forget anyone. Oh, we had Extreme Tolata that says, Morena, how are you? How are we doing? We're doing pretty good. Thank you very much. And Morena, if you guys don't know, that's kind of good morning in Maori. Also, my pronunciation was probably wrong on that word. And I mean, no offense, I'm just terrible at pronouncing both English and Maori and French and any other language. I am just a terrible enunciator. I do not know why I'm on video all the time. Aldous Lai say, I had to cancel my trip, but looking to go in the future. Your content was a big help with planning. Thank you, Robin and Laura. You're very welcome. We're super happy to help you out. You know, the situation will come down at some point. There's just no way it's going to stay like that. So definitely you'll be able to plan your trip. And it just gives you more time to plan even more stuff to do. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Clay say, yeah, I've watched most of the... so we were talking about the New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year when we did videos about every activity to do in New Zealand, basically. The challenge was 365 days around New Zealand, 365 activities. So it was a lot. And he said those videos helped him with our trip around the West Coast in January with the kids. Done most what you have mentioned. It was awesome. And yes, that was the health board. Awesome. That's cool. That's really cool. What did the kids like the most? He said, no chat now. I'm just listening for now. The sooner I'm done, the sooner I'm home. Oh, sorry. So don't answer the question.
Yeah.
Next week, when you're not working, you come and you tell us what the kids like the most on the West Coast. I love to actually tell people like what kids like the most on the West Coast, because usually more of an adult kind of area. It's more like hikes and places like that. Why in the World says it's not a question, but FYI, the White Island tour people are now doing a different tours to a different island called Whale Island, where people can see native birds and seals and swim in hot water at the hot water beach.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool alternative.
Yeah, you see it. You used to see it when you did the tour to White Island. We used to sail by it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you do see it sort of in passing, but actually that is a really cool attraction to visit in itself, and you can even do some good snorkeling there in summer as well. It's a really cool place to check out.
And it's called Whale Island, not because there are whale around, but because the island, if you look at it from a certain angle, it's kind of shaped like a whale, which is just coming out
It's like a
of
whale
the water.
hump or something. Yeah.
So so it's just a whale hump. So yeah. Extreme Tolata say Rotorua has a Maori area. Tepuya,
Yes.
Tepuya. We have a whole video of Tepuya as well. There is also Tamaki, which is really awesome, and there is plenty of other different area. There is Mithai as well. So there is definitely a lot of option to explore the Maori culture in Rotorua, and just to kind of get a feel. By no means, when you do one of those tours, you're gonna understand the whole depth of the Maori culture, right? But it's just a good way to kind of just get a few basic and just kind of see a different way of seeing life and living life. So it's always quite interesting.
And learn a few of the traditions as well. Yeah.
So, but by no means you become an expert after one tour. I mean, we've done tens of tours and we are very far from experts or anything like that. And look, I still can't pronounce any words. Extreme Tolata also says that in Taranaki there is Patea, so the small town of Patea. There is a Maori group called Patea Maori Group. Oh, that's awesome.
They also have a good, really cool museum there as well.
There is a museum in Patea as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Juan D says, my work travel visa requires me to arrive before the 14th of June. I'm 31, so no longer able to apply for a new visa. I appreciate all the awesome work you both do for travelers in New Zealand, though. Hopefully one day. Well, we got our fingers crossed for you.
Yeah,
maybe by the 14th of June you get in. It is unlikely, but, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
maybe.
just keep sort of looking on the Immigration New Zealand website for updates and seeing, see if there's any changes that you need to be aware of.
Hopefully things clear out. But otherwise, you can always come as a tourist and enjoy the awesome New Zealand sceneries that are available. All right, Terra Lightning, he or she has a question for you. New Plymouth or Gisborne?
Ooh.
Da, da, da.
So, I think for maybe for surfing, for instance, there are two things that they're very, very popular for. New Plymouth is sort of like rougher, sort of more rugged. We won't talk about surfing. We'll just talk about the coast. New Plymouth is more of a sort of rugged area, got like black sand on the beaches. The town itself is really artsy. And if you're into sort of, art and culture and that sort of thing, New Plymouth is really good for that. In Gisborne, things, the coast is a little bit sort of like, like long beaches, the sort of water conditions are quite calm usually. It's more of a relaxed vibe if you it still has like a couple of really cool museums and stuff to check out, but it just Gisborne itself, it feels more relaxed. There's wineries nearby if you're into that sort of thing, and also breweries as well. So if you kind of more about the foodie sort of side of things, Gisborne would probably be a better sort of city to go for. But yeah, New Plymouth is sort of more rugged, more.
So if you have to pick one, which one do you pick?
I think I would go for New Plymouth.
I definitely would go for Gisborne. There's more wine there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fruit orchards as well as some wine production over there. So I think I'll go for Gisborne because I do like me some good food.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of them. Oh, seriously, both of them are actually really, really awesome. So yeah. Terra Lightning also said that the Te Papa Museum is shut down due to the current event. Yeah, there is a lot of things which are shut down. There is a company called Kiwi Experience that used to travel around like all the country doing hop on hop off bus. This is shut down for now. And New Zealand has shut down a lot of flights as well. So yeah, everything will reopen. It's just a bit it's just a bit on the edge. So there is kind of different level of alert in New Zealand, and there is a four level system, and we're on level 2 right now. So as we move up in the scale, which we inevitably going to go to maximum level 4, things are going to start closing down, but it's going to be okay. It just for the next few months.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that when we say something are closed or shut down or anything like that, it is by no means definitive. It's just for now, and it will change later.
Yeah. And in terms of all the advice we're giving to you during this video about traveling in New Zealand, it's obviously for, in a few months' time, or basically when everything's sort of cleared up and things get back to normal. This is the advice that we're giving on that time, not necessarily for right now. Like, yeah, maybe traveling around is a little bit tricky right now.
Right now, we're talking about forward planning.
Yes.
Mr. Faraday says, hi, hello, about a million
Hello.
emoji as usual.
AKA Stone Skin.
Yeah.
That was his old name on YouTube.
Terra Lightning has another one for you, Laura. Choosing between Hamilton and Palmerston North.
What happened to the New Plymouth and Gisborne?
Like, I hate New Plymouth and
Yeah.
Gisborne now. Next one.
Okay.
Hamilton or Palmerston North, Laura?
I think I would go for Hamilton.
What do you like about Hamilton?
I like that Hamilton is nearby some cool places. For instance, Raglan is nearby, which is a really cool sort of, I keep talking about surfing, but surf town. But it's also, yeah, it's got some really nice sort of beaches and waterfalls nearby. Also, if you're into, I don't know, hobbits, you can go to Hobbiton nearby Hamilton.
It's not too far from Waitomo as well, where you can do some black hole rafting over
Yeah,
there, which is
so
quite
Hamilton's a good central area where it's easy to sort of get to lots of really cool things to see. Palmerston North it does have some cool things around. There's the Manawatu Gorge, which is a really cool area for hiking nearby Palmerston North. There's some really cool museums and stuff in Palmerston North. There's the Rugby Museum, if you're into that sort of thing. And there's also like a sort of regional museum with some cool like Maori artifacts and that sort of thing. Some nice spiking trails by the river there. But yeah, personally, I think there's a little more to do and explore around Hamilton. So that's why I would go for that.
I personally will choose New Plymouth if I don't have... Palmerston North. I will choose Palmerston North if I don't have a car, just because I love the vibe of the city a bit more. So if I don't have a car and I'm going to be spending a lot of time, either studying or something, I will prefer Palmerston North. There's a lot of little events like market nights and all those kind of things. So a lot of really awesome food. You can also rent bikes, and there's a lot of really nice bike trails around and everything. So I think I will go for Palmerston North if I don't have a car. And if I do have a car, I will go for Hamilton, just because you can get to so many places. Yeah. And if I do have a car and I have the intention to kind of travel around, that's why I would be in Hamilton. Otherwise, I think as where I want to settle for a little bit, like work before traveling again, I will pick Palmerston North. Yeah,
but we have videos on on loads of things to do in both of those cities. So if you're on our channel, you can search either Hamilton or Palmerston North, and you'll get an idea for the sort of activities and things to do around those areas, because we've visited them both. We've made videos on what to do in each area. So it's a good idea to go and check those videos out.
Okay, I am going to butcher the next name, and I'm very sorry. Bindu Aradia says, I really love your channel, and give us a heart. Oh, thank you so much.
Nice.
I am sorry for butchering your name. Mr. Faraday says, in New Zealand, where can do print and copies? Is there a self-service copy and print shop? And another million of emojis. How do you find that many emojis related to all your questions? It's just gobsmacking to me. So there is like a printer copy emoji, a briefcase emoji, a fax emoji, a paper emoji, a card. You're good. All right, so there is a store called the Warehouse Stationery, which is present in almost every cities in New Zealand. It has a big blue logo, and in there you can literally just bring your USB and you can print stuff here. And there you have all the options of like so many different paper weight, or like reimage or whatever, grammage. I don't know. You get plenty of choices for the
print
printing.
And copy. They also do binding stuff.
Exactly, you can do all the binding and all that. So this store is kind of like, it's a store for like businesses, so you can go buy like your staplers and all this kind of things. But you can also buy all the stuff for crafts and everything like that, but you also can do the printing. So that would be probably the most convenient place to do printing. Now, any cyber cafe will usually have printers, and then you can print stuff, and it's usually
cyber cafe.
Cyber cafe, sorry.
Saying it the French way.
Cyber cafe. Any cyber cafe will actually be able to print, like just basic, like if you need to print a CV or something, they'll print it for you, and it's usually costs you like 20 cents per page or something like that.
Even if you're staying in a hostel, to be fair.
Like, and the last option is hostel.
Yeah, sorry if I put it in there. But yeah, if you're staying in a hostel, if you're traveling around New Zealand, and usually you can just go to the reception in a hostel and ask, like, can you print this out for me? That happens quite often because, there's a lot of people on working holidays staying in hostels, and they need to print out CVs to go find a job. So it's pretty common that hostels are printing out stuff for them, and they're usually quite helpful at the reception in hostels. So
you still will have to pay for it, but it's going to be minimal. So it's going to be something than a cyber cafe.
Yeah.
But like 20 or 50 cents per page. So that's going to be it. So yes, that's basically the options for printing and copying stuff in New Zealand. Extreme Talota has a question between oh no, it's not a question.
It's just a statement.
Between Taranaki and Wairau, there is Mount Ruapehu. It's a great place. First, the big volcano, so it's a bit scary, but it is a big volcano. But it's a great place to spend time in. There is awesome things to do both in winter and in summer.
Yeah, so you can do a lot of hiking around that area. It's actually quite close to the Tongariro crossing, which is what most people know about the area. But actually around Mount Ruapehu itself, there's lots of different hikes you can be doing around there. And it's such a big volcano. There's various different towns around the area. So you have sort of near the Tongariro crossing, there's a town called Whakapapa. Well, a town, it's a tiny village, but it has lots of cool short walks nearby there to see some amazing waterfalls, for instance. But on the other side of the mountain, you have Owakuni, which has some really awesome mountain biking trails. And you can actually drive a little bit up the mountain and go and see some waterfalls up there as well, which is also pretty cool.
So yeah, definitely a great place to explore. And in Wairau, it's a very small town that usually you drive through when you drive from the Tongariro crossing, which everybody is doing, down to Wellington. It's the place, if you guys want to pinpoint it, when you guys drive around, the place where you're going to see some big tanks next to the road, because there is the Army Museum just right by the road, basically.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to know which one that is, when you see tanks, that's Wairau. Why in the world is the question? Do you guys buy bluff oysters at supermarkets? I am. Unfortunately, Bluff Oyster Festival was cancelled for this year, so I'll go next year instead. We don't really buy oysters because we don't really know what to do with it, aside from slurping them, and it's a bit gooey and salty. It's kind of an event, right? So if you go to a festival or something, I'm happy to eat it and try it, but as like the everyday thing that you eat at home,
it's not part of my everyday diet, that's for sure.
So it's a bit like it's fun for just the one-off for me, right? It's definitely not something I like to do every year or every
day.
But good, some oysters recipes, just do share. It'd be fun, as long as it's not just raw with a bit of lemon, because that's the stuff that we already tried many times. I remember an 8 a.m. oyster tasting in Waiheke Island when we did a tour.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. that was rough. I have to say, that was 8 a.m. So so obviously we do a lot of tours sometimes, and sometimes not the best time for that. So we had an 8 a.m. oyster and wine pairing tour that we did in Waiheke Island, which is off Auckland. Yeah. And I have to say, this was a little early for raw oysters and wine. So it was kind of an interesting experience. But honestly, the tour was good, and if you get an option to do this tour, definitely do it. Just not at 8 a.m. like we did. And it's just us. It's not usually available at 8 a.m. Right? It's just
they just wanted to fit us in.
Exactly, because we got to do so many tours and everything, and we had to fit in between all the tours that we had to do. So but it's awesome. Mr. Faraday finds some more emojis. Where does he find it? I do not know. GSGS says, hi, I am your fan. Oh, awesome. Yay. We are your fan. We love everybody. Mr. Friday says, thanks as always. Awesome answers and guidance. Always happy to help. Extreme Tolata say, what's the best place to go in the north of New Zealand? Oh, that is a bit subjective. The best place.
Did you see our before?
Yeah, we just talked for half an hour about all of these. Okay. That means we have to pick one each, right? You give us one. We're not going to pick the best place. We're going to pick one each.
Okay. You go first.
No!
So I can think of something.
No, okay. Fine. So if I have to pick one best place on the northern end, I think I will kind of explore the Rotorua area. I just love Rotorua. I think it has so much to offer, both like all the geothermal kind of areas are fantastic to visit. There is fantastic Maori culture tours. I think it's really awesome. But the best thing about Rotorua as well, there is great mountain biking. There is amazing hiking. There is a ton of things to do there. But what I really like is that it's kind of central, so you can actually go to so many places. So you can go explore the East Cape quite easily with the short drive. You can go to Napier, try some wine. It's a short east drive. You can go to Taupo if you want to go to Taupo. You can go to Hobbiton and back all in one day easy. You can go to Tauranga, go swim with dolphin and come back in one day easy. So you actually can do a lot from Rotorua. So I think I will pick Rotorua if I have to pick one only, but I picked one excess a lot. So here you go. Laura, what? I just cheated. I'm sorry, Extreme Torata. What do you pick if you have to pick one place in the North Island?
I would pick the Egmont National Park in Taranaki, because we have been talking a lot about New Plymouth on this live chat, and that's why it's on my mind right now. But it's got some really amazing forests there. Like the forests there are so incredible. There's like moss all over the trees. It kind of feels like you're in a like sort of Jurassic fairy tale land. It's very cool. So yeah, I would be quite happy just spending my days hiking in those forests all the time, probably just staying, you know, in one of those Department of Conservation huts, and that'll be my favorite place on the North Island for this week.
Here you go. Yeah, that's what we will pick. By the way, guys, if you do find this video useful, just hit the like button. It's a great free way for you guys to support all our hard work, and we always appreciate it. What is going on then? Why in the World also chooses Rotorua? Oh, come on, you can't copy me. Pick something else.
I technically think he said that before you said it. I did see that on the screen, but just before you said it.
Damn.
I think he got there first.
Bindu Aradia says, I'm visiting New Zealand next year to visit my sister. I can't wait to come to New Zealand. Woo. You will love it. You're going to really, really love that. Check out all the videos we have on the channel, and you'll find so many things you want to do with your sister. It's going to be epic. Where is your sister living? Is she in one of the fun places in New Zealand or one of the boring places in New Zealand? I'm joking. There's no boring places in New Zealand. Everything is awesome. Christine Martini, hey, aloha. How are you doing? That's been a while. I mean, that's been, about 57 minutes since you didn't show up. So, hello. She said, where's a good place to go skiing and snowboarding for beginners in the South Island? And when is the better time to go to New Zealand? If it's for skiing, September or October, I think you should pick October. Now, the best place...
For snowboarding? I would say September.
September. You still have some snow, yes. Sorry, my bad. The best place to visit with better weather would be October. So here you go. Yeah,
if you're not looking to ski or snowboard, travel October. If you want to ski and snowboard, travel September.
Here you go. Now, one place in the South Island for beginners, which one would you pick?
I would say the Remarkables, which is near Queenstown. They have ski schools there. The slopes themselves are quite mellow. They're wide, so you can definitely stick to areas that aren't too scary. And yeah, it's a really cool place to learn. Yeah.
Here you go. And Why in the World gives you some other advice. So it's pretty awesome. Christine, you can read what he says there as well. And we basically kind of agree with what he says. So here you go. Now, thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. It's rounded up to about an hour now. We'll be back next week. If you guys do have questions about the current event, you can check out the video that we published about an hour and a half ago. We spent 30 minutes to give you all the information that we could find about the current situation. So you can check this one out. And we go really in depth as usual. We go way too in depth into anything. And we'll try to keep you posted every week on that as well. So next week, we will be back on Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which is going to be the same time than this time around. So if you are in the UK, it will be 7 p.m. on Saturday. If you're in France, it will be 8 p.m. or 20h le samedi. If you are in the USA, it's on Saturday at 2 p.m. EST, or on Saturday at 11 a.m. PST. If you're in India, it's on Sunday at 12:30 a.m. bright and early. And if you are in Australia, it's super early, 6 a.m. New Zealand time. And if you want to ask us a question and you missed out the live session, that happened. It's okay. You can put your question in the comments of any of our videos, and then we pull them up. And we are answer them on the live session every single Sunday. So here you go. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
See you next week.